In today's video, we're going to go through this massive Miro board here, all to just answer the question of which info product should you actually sell. So if you're confused about whether to sell a course, ebook, community, cohort, templates that are plug and play, all that stuff, I'm about to make this decision stupidly simple for you because there's way too many options and everyone's saying something different. Gurus are flexing one thing, but actually successful people are doing another, and it's just all over the place. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which format fits your expertise, your authority level right now, how you want to work, and what will actually convert for your specific audience. I'm going to break down ebooks, video courses, templates, cohorts, memberships, pricing strategy, how to stack them, and the exact decision framework I use when picking formats for creators that I partner with. And this is pretty much everything you're going to need to make a decision. So without further ado, let's get into it. So just a quick warning before we get into this video. Before you pick anything, you need these. You solve the problem yourself with the real results. You have documented proof that it actually works. You've built some authority through free content or client work. And if you don't have any of these yet, you have to build authority first and then later package it into an info product, because you cannot sell the map if you've never walked the path yourself. So this is a big thing in the info product space. There's a lot of people that try to get into this space and try to sell coaching courses, try to put together all these paid communities and stuff like that, and basically just sell knowledge without ever having done the actual work themselves. So this is something that you definitely don't want to do, because you will get exposed eventually, and people are very easily able to sniff out essentially someone who's kind of went through the process and knows exactly what they're talking about, and someone who is just trying to famoose everyone and essentially convince them that they've done it before and try to sell info on it. So this is a big warning. Do not sell it if you haven't done it before. So now we're going to get into the 4-question filter. So these questions here are going to help you essentially answer what type of info product you should package your knowledge into to distribute and sell it in the most effective way possible. So we're going to start with the first one here. What does your solution actually need? If it needs a visual demonstration, the best way to go about this one is obviously a video course or a cohort, where essentially you're offering some kind of a coaching or mentorship. If it's a step-by-step process that can be easily followed and replicated, some sort of a guide or template works totally fine. Does it benefit from live accountability? Then you're going to go with the cohort. So when I'm referring to cohort within this video, I am referring essentially to coaching and mentorship. So just want to make that straight as I continue on through this video. Or a community would work here as well. Both of these do very well with live accountability, as you have many touch points with the actual person who's in the community or the person you're working one-on-one with. Does it require constant updates? Then you're going to go with a membership model. So a community model where they're paying monthly on an MRR basis, where you're constantly updating, putting in new content, updated information, all of that stuff. So it justifies the monthly pricing model. Or is it just a pure framework? Here, just an ebook works, right? Like you could describe your entire framework within an ebook, distribute that, and sell it without any issues. Now, the second question in the 4-question filter framework is, how do you want to work? So if you love teaching live and being on calls, then you're going to go with the cohort model, obviously. If you want to build it once and be done, then a video course or ebook works well for that. If you're willing to show up every single month consistently, then a community is good. If you hate being on camera, then you're going to stick to written guides or templates where you never have to show your face within a community or a cohort. So these are very basic so far. And another question you have to answer is, where does your authority live right now? If you're just starting out and building and you don't have too much experience, but you do have knowledge that's valuable to other people and you could sell and distribute it, obviously low ticket is the way. So anywhere between $47 to $297. If you have proven results and case studies and you're a lot more experienced and comfortable charging the high ticket price, then the high ticket route works. And strong social proof and testimonials equals premium positioning time. So this is also another thing, and this is what's really going to justify you being able to charge a high ticket price, because you have the authority, you have the positioning, so you're able to charge the high ticket. So if you don't have that much authority and you're just starting out, but you feel like you have valuable information that you could sell, low ticket is the way to start out initially, and then eventually you could transition into just purely high ticket or mix and matching the two. And the 4th question is going to be, what's already working in your space? So this is a big one that a lot of people kind of overlook because they don't feel like doing research. What you want to do is you want to look at the top 3 to 5 competitors solving similar problems in your specific space. So what formats are they actually using to distribute info products? What seems to be the best selling? Check the reviews and positioning. What's nobody doing? This might be your best opportunity. So if you do your research and you look at the top 3 to 5 people within your specific niche or space, whatever you want to call it, and no one is, for example, offering a video course and it is applicable within that niche where you have to show a lot of visuals within a course, you have to show how to use certain softwares and navigate UIs and stuff like that, then you're going to want to go with a video course because it's unsaturated within that specific niche and you're able to package it all into a video course and no one else is doing it. So you're able to scoop up some market share that way. So these 4 questions here are going to help you answer specifically which one that you like, which one pairs the best way that you want to work, like if you want to show your face, if you want to be faceless. So you want to go through all of these questions yourself and kind of niche down that way. But without further ado, we're going to get into all of these specific models and what they're best for, the good parts of them, the bad parts of them, when you're supposed to use them. And we're going to be covering it for ebooks, self-paced courses, done for you stuff, coaching/mentorship or cohort models, and monthly communities. So we're going to start with ebooks here. And ebooks range within the $47 to $197 mark. And these are best for process-heavy solutions that need reference material, clear frameworks and step-by-step systems, audiences that prefer reading over watching, and when you need to test demand fast without overthinking it. So you could even use ebooks as a test for example, a self-paced course that you want to make. If you make a ebook with all of the knowledge that you're going to package into a self-paced video course and people are clearly buying up the ebook, then it might be a good idea to go ahead and put together the self-paced course, because a video course obviously it just has like higher authority than an ebook, right? Like it has a higher perceived value than just words that are written on a page. But the good parts of an ebook is you could create this in less than a week, in a week, or maybe less, depending how fast you are, and especially if you're using AI to speed up the process. You're able to make updates that take 10 minutes, so just go in the doc, update it. If anything becomes like outdated in the ebook, for example, and it's very fast to finish, people actually finish reading them, so they have higher completion rates. Makes a great entry offer that leads to bigger upsells later down the line. But the bad parts is it has the lowest perceived value of all of the formats. You can't really show visual processes or software demos beyond screenshots within the actual book. It's hard to charge premium prices because people expect ebooks to be cheap, right? They don't really assign them too much value. And it's easy for someone to screenshot and share around, which is the bad part as well. And the only time you're going to want to use an ebook is when you're a strong writer and you communicate well in text and you need to launch fast and validate the idea works. So your solution is clearly a framework or a system, and you're building this as an entry point to higher ticket offers, basically. So you're pushing them up an ascension ladder, which we're going to get into later, and how to actually kind of package this all into a system to generate the most amount of revenue possible. So this is pretty much everything when it comes to ebooks. And you're going to notice when we now go through the self-paced courses that courses are very similar to ebooks. However, you're able to essentially charge more premium prices for them. So self-paced video courses are best when you need to actually show someone how to actually do something. So whether it's teaching a software, showing how to do design work or other technical skills, anything hands-on that benefits from watching you do it, and when you want premium positioning in your market. The good parts of a video course is it has a way higher perceived value than text. So like the ebooks we were discussing before, you can show exactly how to do complex stuff step by step. It's easier to justify charging premium prices, and it demonstrates your expertise visually, building more trust with your audience. But the bad parts is it takes a lot of time to record everything properly. It's super annoying to update because you have to re-record. You need to be comfortable on camera or hire someone to be on camera for you. And it has lower completion rates than text in my experience, because with text, people have so many tools nowadays, right? Like you could throw all the text into ChatGPT, ask questions, any large language model for that matter. And it's just easier to kind of skim through all the text and extract the information that you came there for. And video courses, on the other hand, you have to sit through hours of content, so they're going to have lower completion rates by default. And you want to use video courses when you're comfortable on camera and you can explain things clearly. Your solution genuinely needs visual demonstration. You want to charge premium prices and position high ticket, and your content stays relatively stable and won't change constantly. So now we're going to get into done for you stuff, um, which is like basically plug and play stuff. We'll get into it in a second, but this is best for solutions that are repeatable, systematic processes, plug and play resources people can use immediately when the value is in saving someone's time, giving people implementation shortcuts. And the good part about these done for you things is your customers can get instant results. They can use it today. Quick to create compared to full courses. Works great bundled with courses or guides. Low ongoing maintenance once it's built. But the bad parts is it's pretty low perceived value on their own. Competitors can reverse engineer them easier. Only works for solutions that can be actually templated, and you need to include clear instructions or people get confused. So you want to use these when you have a repeatable system that can be templated. Your customers value time saving over deep learning. You're planning to bundle this with a course or guide, and you want done for you positioning in your marketing. So what I mean by done for you stuff essentially is like SOPs. So if you have a document essentially documenting some kind of a process, this could be classified as done for you stuff. Or for example, Claude launched Claude skills. So within a Claude skill, you could train Claude to do specific processes, whether that be writing a VSL in a certain way, whether that be writing landing page copy in a certain way. This could be considered done for you stuff because all you would do is you would give your client the file, they would upload the file, and then, for example, they have the Claude skill that they could immediately use and implement to get the results. So that's what I mean by done for you stuff. Now we're going to get into coaching/mentorship. So coaching/mentorship is best for solutions that genuinely benefit from accountability and deadlines. When people need live feedback and iteration on their work, peer interaction and networking adds real value, especially in these programs. And high touch delivery where access to you really matters and it really impacts the results of your students. The good part of this is you could charge high ticket prices. So between the 2K to 5K range, it creates community value and networking opportunities. You have a built-in urgency with limited spots and fixed start dates because obviously you could only take on a certain amount of people that are working with you directly. It's way better completion rates because of the accountability systems that are implemented within the programs, and the direct access to you is what justifies the premium price. The bad parts is it's not very scalable because you're live and time bound, and it's super time intensive while the cohort is actually running. It requires strong facilitation skills, not just teaching. You can't set and forget like self-paced products. You need minimum viable cohort sizes to actually make it worth it. And you want to use this when you're strong at live facilitation and enjoy teaching in real time. You want to charge high ticket and work with fewer people. You're okay with being live constrained to a schedule. You're validating content before creating the self-paced version. Building relationships with customers actually matters to you. So this is one that's actually quite valuable to a lot of people. A lot of them like interacting with their audience, and what you'll notice is that coaching and mentorship models obviously provide the best results to the students because they get direct access to the creator that they're working with. Changes are able to be made very rapidly and implemented very rapidly. They're able to ask questions directly and get actual custom feedback on their specific situation. So this is where the majority of results are going to be achieved. And also monthly communities are very valuable for this as well, which we're going to get into now. So monthly communities priced between the $47 to $97 a month mark are best for solutions that require ongoing updates and new content, continuous learning model versus one-time transformation, when community support is actually core to the value. Markets where people need to stay current, like stay up to date essentially. So a common one, like a good example I could give here is kind of reselling groups. So within the reselling space, there will oftentimes be updates, new products and stuff like that. And these will be sent in as alerts to these communities so they could be aware of these products, buy them, and then resell them within the actual market. So the good part about monthly recurring communities is obviously you generate a consistent MRR recurring revenue stream. You have predictable income. You build long-term relationships with customers. It has a lower upfront cost and it makes it easier for people to join. And the community itself becomes your competitive moat. So obviously people want to join because of all the connections. Like if you have 500 people in your community, that's inherently valuable itself because there's a lot of people that they could learn from, a lot of people that they could communicate with, partner up with, tons of different stuff. But the bad part is you're on the content creation treadmill forever. Community management takes real time and energy. People cancel memberships constantly. Churn is brutal. You have to show up every single month without fail. And this is not passive income, no matter what anyone else tells you. It's very involved. And honestly, sometimes it's harder to maintain a community than it is to actually coach someone one-on-one. So you want to use this when your niche genuinely changes constantly and needs updates. You're willing to show and needs updates like frequently. And when you're willing to show up consistently and create monthly, when you actually enjoy building and managing communities, and you can sustain creating valuable content regularly without burnout. So that's pretty much the gist of all 5 of these models here. These are very basic, and you should be able to make a decision based on what I covered here. However, one caveat you want to consider when actually considering a community is you don't want to add the community for the sole purpose of building MRR if there's no real ongoing value, because people will churn fast, and sometimes it's better to charge more one time. So if you have a community where, for example, you have some course content within the community, and then there's a group chat where a bunch of people could communicate as well, you don't want to charge MRR for the sake of building MRR, because if it's not updating constantly, like I mentioned many times up here, people are going to try to charge back, they're going to try to cancel and all this stuff. So sometimes it's better to charge a one-time fee for a community where there's not constant updates, and you will just save yourself the headache of all of these people complaining that there's not new content, that there's not new updates, that it's not as active as they thought it was. So this is something that is very important to consider when building a community. So just a quick side note here, if you know what format fits your expertise the best, but the thought of building all of the funnels, the Typeforms, the tech stack that goes on in the back end, and all of the operations just sound completely exhausting, this is literally what I do. Me and my business partner pair up with creators on RevShare who want to focus purely on making content and getting their students results, while I handle everything on the back end. So everything from the funnel setup to the appointment setting, managing the CRM, all the automations running in the background, even hopping on some of the closing calls alongside the creator, pretty much all of it. There's a Calendly link in the description, and we could hop on, look at your specific situation, and see if partnering up even makes sense in the first place. So that should be the only link in the description in this specific video. But now let's talk about pricing, because this is where most people completely mess up. So the pricing decision, we're going to be talking about the low ticket path and high ticket path. And this one is not bolded, so let's bold that one. For the low ticket path, when it works is when it's your first time selling info products, as we covered before. It is way easier to charge a low ticket price because you just have way less objections on the price side when selling. You're building your email list from scratch. You're solving an entry-level, simpler problem. You want to use it as a lead magnet for high ticket later. So this is when it really works, the low ticket path. But the reality is you need 200 sales just to hit 10K at a $50 price point. You attract way more tire kickers and refund requests. You have a lower lifetime value per customer overall, but it's way easier to sell and get your first couple of quick wins. So it's good for building proof and momentum when you're getting started. Now, on the other hand, the high ticket path works when you have established authority and social proof already. You're delivering a complex transformation, not just a couple quick tips and like systems that the actual client can implement. Your solution connects directly to money, so the ROI is very obvious. You prefer working with fewer, more committed customers. But the reality here is that you only need 10 sales to hit 10K, which gives you way more leverage than charging the low ticket route. If you try to hit 10K with this specific model, you would be needing to essentially you'd need to be driving a lot more customers to the landing page, pushing a lot more volume and stuff like that. So it's easier to hit higher numbers with the high ticket route, but it is harder to sell the higher ticket route, obviously, because it's more expensive. But yeah, this way you get higher quality customers who are serious. You get way less customer service headaches and refunds. You have more profit per sale, which means more flexibility in your business, but it's harder to sell without the proof backing you up. That's why it's very important to have lived the path yourself and actually done it yourself and know what you're talking about if you're going to charge for a high ticket product. You don't want to be lying here or acting like you've done it before, because people will find out. They know when you're just giving them basic theory and you haven't done it before, and they will charge back, and that's going to create a massive headache down the line. So basically what you want to do is start where your authority is today. If you're new in building, you want to start with low ticket, prove it works, stack case studies, and then start raising prices over time. But if you're already experienced and you have results and you know what you're doing, you want to go the high ticket route from the start. Don't try to fake authority that you don't already have, but also don't undercharge if you already have the proof. Now we're going to get into the product stacking section here. So don't try to build everything at once because you will end up burning out. You want to pick one core product first from everything that we described here, whether it's low ticket, high ticket, in whichever model that you choose to pick from the kind of catalog that I created here. You want to pick one core product first. Validate that people actually want it and it works. Then add the next level once you have the proof. So an example progression that you could implement later when you start actually building out an ecosystem of offers is at first you would have a $97 ebook, which gets them in the door. You would have a $497 course as a natural upsell to the actual ebook, which is a lot more in depth, provides visual guides and stuff like that. And then the final tier would be the $2,500 coaching offer for the more serious customers. And most people will just end up buying the entry product. Most people will just buy the ebook, call it a day, and they can't afford the remainder of your ladder, of the product ladder that you've essentially built. However, 10 to 20% of your customers will climb the full ladder over time. And these people represent the majority of your total revenue that you're creating with your info product ecosystem. So this is the beauty of product stacking. But in the beginning, you want to choose one core product, start testing it, start driving traffic to the actual product, and then see if you could convert it and see if you could actually deliver results to your customer. And then over time, start thinking about building these ecosystems where you're able to push people and actually upsell them up these product ladders. So the final decision framework and the real questions that you need to answer when figuring out what kind of an info product it is that you actually want to sell is, can you actually deliver this transformation? Like genuinely, did you do it yourself with real results? What does your specific solution need to be delivered well? The format should follow the problems that you're actually solving, and all of this stuff we've actually covered before in the 4-question framework. What do you want your day-to-day life to look like? Do you want it to be passive income, high-touch relationships, so the cohort model, showing up monthly, so the monthly membership model within an actual community? What do you want it to look like? Where's your authority level right this second? Pick the format and price what you can actually start selling today and actually start testing within the market. So the bottom line is, keep it simple. You want one product to start. Don't overcomplicate this decision. We've covered it all within this actual video. If you're just starting out and you don't have too much authority, pick low ticket. If you have a lot of experience and it needs like high touch, it needs high touch relationships where complex transformations are essentially, you're trying to give your client a very complex transformation, then you want to go the high ticket route. So with that, you would choose the coaching model. If you don't really want to show your face, then you could create ebooks and then kind of like done for you templates, SOPs and stuff like that. If you're fine with showing your face, but you don't feel like dealing with these people on a day-to-day basis and constantly be communicating with them, you could create a video course. If you want to show up monthly, engage with the community, build a lot of connections, then you build a community. So that's pretty much how simple it is. And we left off here. Let's see. Yeah, like I said before, you don't want to really overcomplicate this decision. At the end of the day, it is pretty simple to actually choose. The best info product for you is the one that solves a specific problem that you've already solved. You could deliver it right now with your current skill set. It matches exactly how you currently want to work day to day, and it fits the current level of authority and proof that you have built up over time. You want to build it, sell it, get testimonials and proof, and then scale. Raise your prices, build an ecosystem of products, and that's really how simple it is. So if you want help with all the backend operations so you can purely focus on creating content and getting your students the results that they're paying you for, I have my Calendly link in the description so we could hop on call like I've mentioned before to see if you would be a good fit. But basically me and my partner up with creators, manage all the backend operations that go into actually distributing, converting, and selling these info products so the creator can actually focus on creating content and managing their students' results on a day-to-day basis. So on that call, we'll hop on, talk through your offer, whether you have one or you don't currently, and see if it makes sense to partner up. Otherwise, go back through this video one more time and pick the format from this board and then start building.